Alright, so welcome back. We're on game 2 now. And Mmoze is up 1-0. This is a mono god tournament. Mr. Boat is chosen random god, and Mmoze is Oranos. Once again, the random map has picked Savannah. This Savannah looks to be even more aggressive than the last Savannah in terms of the hunt. Like, this is going to be a big point, having all this hunt spawn so far forward. And already, we're already seeing some interesting things happen from Mr. Boat. He's chosen to save his Dwarven gold mine and instead just go straight to a starting gold, which means that he's going to have this later on and it's going to be able to generate either 1,000 or 3,000 gold most likely, and make it much harder for Mmoze to gold starve. But that is going to slow his start down, which can be an issue, seeing how forward this hunt is. And he scouts the hunt, so he knows that there's quite a bit of forward hunt. There's these forward elephants here, these really forward gazelle right in the middle of the map. But he doesn't know that there's really not much safe hunt to the side. Like sometimes in Savannah, like in the last game, you see that you get hunt fairly far back to the side. In this case, this side hunt is actually quite far away and exposed. It's not really to the side; it's still sort of out in the open. But the starting hunt is quite big at least, so that will last the players a little bit into the classical age as well. Meanwhile, we still see standard for Oranos. I think it's just going to be another 430 Murmillo's Termas, and lots of pressure that we see as typical for Oranos players. He actually won on wood quite early for Mr. Boat, so he sort of didn't actually have the food to make a gatherer there for a couple seconds, I think, because he has this gather on wood, and he's also spent an extra 50 food making this ox cart. So he's got to be really careful about his food amounts. He might not have enough to make villagers since he has got an extra ox cart. That's 50 food, 50 wood. Quite expensive. So looking at the map, Mr. Boat has ran forward. He knows the hunt is really aggressive on this map. There's the gazelle here. These forward elephants. Yeah, so this is a really, really aggressive map. While for Mmoze, we see the oracles walking around again. He's chosen to scout more aggressively this game, which I like. You really want to be very aggressive against Thor as Oranos, because if you just let Thor boom and do what he wants, then you're going to run into a huge problem with Ragnarok flaming weapons later on. You absolutely cannot let Thor boom here. And it's up to the Oranos player to try and make something happen. He's already scouted this forward gazelle, so I imagine that he will likely be trying to contest it, seeing as Mr. Boat is not using his Dwarven mine. So Mr. Boat's going to have a bit of a slow start, which means Mmoze can establish himself quite nicely on these gazelle. I'll move over there. Yep, he's already moving now, and then just build a manor over here, and it's pretty much safe. It's your hunt. It's really good for him. Not using this Dwarven gold mine. I feel like that might really hurt Mr. Boat on this map, where the hunt is so aggressive. You really need to have as fast a start as possible to make sure you can secure it. The relics this time, Kithra of Apollo, 10% villager speed. That will definitely come in very handy. Really, really good relic. 10% villager speed makes it nice for moving around the map. Reduces the walking time of your villagers in the case of Mr. Boat. And just more mobility is really good in general. You get walk to the TCs faster. You escape raids easier. It's easier to do forward builds. It's a really good relic. And also the other relic, Anvil of Hephaestus, I believe. Yeah, it's 10% cheaper armory research costs. I'd say it's a slightly below average relic, but it's still useful. Thor already has some cheaper army bonuses, so maybe you can get that, and then you get like these really cheap army bonuses, and you get lots of army upgrades early and just win fights. Maybe you could try to do that. I know that Mr. Boat should be pretty confident with playing Thor, since he has been playing Thor on ladder, from what I know. So this should be a It should be a god that he's more comfortable with than Poseidon. But still, I'm a little bit worried. I mean, this gold mine here, like it does have the sentry tower protecting it, but then just some termas are like. It's also it's quite far. It's quite forward, and it could be harassed. Mr. Boat going now for the Kithra of Apollo relic. I like it. I really want to see him pick up the relic. Mmoze, he's classical age now. And he's deleted his Promethean to get these two fast little Promethean offspring, which are much faster and can help explore the map and harass villagers. Which is why a lot of players choose to delete the Promethean straight away. You get these two little Promethean offspring. And also, there's quite a lot of map that Mmoze still likely wants to scout. He doesn't know much about Mr. Boat's base yet. So he's running down here just to check on this hunt. But we know Mr. Boat's not quite there yet. There is quite a lot of starting hunt in this map, and Mr. Boat is just finishing it off. After this hunt, Mr. Boat doesn't actually have a good spot for the next hunt. I mean, these elephants are too far forward. He hasn't scouted the giraffe here, and these gazelle, that Mmoze's already on it. So is he just going to go to the pigs after finishing these gazelle? That's really gonna. I mean the chickens, not the pigs. Yeah, he's just gonna go onto the chickens. And that's gonna be really early on the chickens. And as Norse, seeing as Norse does hunt really fast, it's gonna be a pretty big setback to not be able to be on hunt. The Promethean offspring finding Mr. Boat's woodline. They're doing good work right now. Just being a bit of a nuisance. If he could pick off this one villager, it would be a massive win for Mmoze, but it looks like it's just not quite enough. If he could pick off that one villager, that'd be just so massive. You see Mr. Boat being housed. Oh no, that's not good. So the Promethean offspring distracted Mr. Boat quite badly, it seemed, because it looks like Mr. Boat has been housed for quite a while. Now Mr. Boat, he's moving out to grab these elephants over here, but it looks pretty sketchy. I mean, he's been housed for so long, he's not been producing units, and he's not going to be able to sustain this elf production for very long with just 100 food. The Valkyrie is going back at Mr. Boat, going towards Mr. Boat's back. It's looking for raids. Maybe he'll find something. Maybe he'll find a good forest fire, but now Mmoze has already gotten out quite a bit of army. He's not found out about these elephants, but he is about to now. He sees it with the Promethean offspring. He's moving in over here. His army is picking off the house. It's just picking off free stuff now. This is going pretty well for Mmoze. Raid happens now. The Valkyrie is forcing off all these citizens off of the woodline. It's really nice for Mr. Boat. This is a good raid. I mean, it didn't pick off any citizens, but then realistically, that's just not going to happen against Atlantean. These citizens being so tanky. The amount of idle time force is pretty good. Mmoze now looking to contest the hunt of Mr. Boat. Mr. Boat's Valkyrie is not here to help the fight. This Valkyrie would definitely make a big difference, and it looks like Mmoze has more army than Mr. Boat, just having spent all his resources from being really efficient, while Mr. Boat not quite doing as good a job spending his resources, and he's backing out now. That's a really big win for Mmoze. Looking, the units lost as well. Mmoze getting much better KD, picking off all these units. Now the Gatherers, are they going to get called out? Doesn't follow it up. But yeah, picking off all those units and then just forcing Mr. Boat to walk away from this hunt. And now, that's just a massive win for Mmoze. Mr. Boat is still ahead in score though. He is still ahead, but I'm not really sure why that is, but the game's not over. This Elf Flood is going to be a stronger unit composition than Murmillas and Termas. The Termas really don't do well against the Elves at all. And move in now. Maybe pick off a Dwarf. No. There's a bit of idle time here. These two citizens are low. As you can see, Mmoze, he's been hunting the whole map. He's been hunting here, now he's hunting down here. And then he's probably going to get the elephants later, while Mr. Boat, he had to move on to the elephants and moving back, so That's what the slow start cost him. He's not able to secure the elephants. He's not able to secure his hunt, and now it's gonna be like a similar story to the last game where Mr. Boat just didn't do a very good job of getting his hunt secured in the last game, and now I feel like now it's the same issue. And without hunt, you're just so far behind. So you see Dwarven Armory picked off, built a little bit far forward here. I was thinking Mr. Boat might actually get watchtowers here just to cope with this aggression, but then the watchtowers, it wouldn't help him secure his next gold mine or hunt for that matter. So that's what Mr. Boat should be worried about. Yeah, now he's rebuilding the Dwarven Armory. That's 75 wood. 75 wood isn't that much, but it's something. And now once Mr. Boat's out of these goats, it's not going to be... It's not going to be pretty. He can still make these dwarves, but then he won't have the food to go heroic without investing a ton into farms. While Grand Monster's just, I mean, Mmoze is just hunting the whole map. So Mr. Boat looks like he wants to grab this town center, but I don't think that's happening. Mmoze is grabbing his own town center, and it looks like he won't have any problems with that. These Elfsarks, they're not going to scout it. Yeah, that's another thing about Thor. His scouting is just much worse than Odin's. Like, Odin would definitely know about this, and then you'd have to worry about the Alfs coming in, but instead you have this. And now Mmoze is just picking more and more Alfs. It's not looking good. Look at the units lost. Mmoze has lost basically nothing compared to Mr. Boat. If you look at the units lost, the 6 is kind of misleading. It's actually only 3 units. It's actually only 4 units lost because one of these units lost is it's a Promethean, right? And then the Promethean has those 2 Promethean offspring. Which means that like the Promethean dying is like counts as 3 units dying, but you can see the resource difference in units lost. Really, really huge. So Mr. Boat, he's forced onto the gold mine in his base. He's used Dwarven gold mine, but he's also sort of out here. I want to see him try to wall this up, but in the meantime, he's using all these buildings over here for free. These are Norse buildings, so they are really they are very fragile. Norse buildings very fragile. And so he's just losing all these buildings really fast to the Atlantean army, just pressuring here. He's also down the town center. Like, it's two against 1 town centers right now. But he is going to be up through Skadi, and with Skadi, he's going to be able to thrust this army, and I think and get really, really good value out of Frost. Just to be able to completely take out this army. No, the temple. He needs to rebuild the temple. The temple is down. He's not going to get the free Frost Giant. Free Frost Giant. It's also losing the two relics. But the free Frost Giant. He's building it now. Oh, he's got so many builders. Okay, it's going to be up in time. It's going to be up in time. But now Mmoze, he's picked off the temple. He's picked off the army. He's picked off like 3 houses, watchtower, even more houses coming in. More and more units getting picked off. It's not looking good for Mr. Boat. I want to see Mr. Boat make some walls over here in front of this gold mine. I really want to see some walls and then maybe some counter raids or anything, because at the moment, Mmoze, he's just got full map control. I mean, this spot could be raided potentially, like over here. You could force some idle time. And it's funny, there's a stray ox cart over here. You're sort of in the middle of nowhere. It's been around since the elephant. It never quite made it back home to base. I wonder if Mr. Boat just forgot about it. I'm not quite sure. Mr. Boat is going to be able to secure his gold now. He's getting the hill fort up. Thor has a much better late game than Oranos, but then on 1 town center, it's not going to cut it. He's not going to have enough villagers for Ragnarok. He's also really struggling on his economy. I mean, just look at it. He's got no food, no wood, and yeah. Just really struggling in the economy. I want to see a market up ASAP to just start trading resources. Maybe make an attempt to grab this town center with the help of Frost. Mmoze, on the other hand, is now up Hyperion, so now this Frost Giant it's not going to be as scary. Like, I guess it sort of makes sense to go Hyperion because he spent all his favor in Prometheus and doesn't have money for the birds. If he catches this army over here and gets Chaos on the Frost Giant, like, it might hit the Valkyrie here, but if he cases a Frost Giant and 4L starts, it's going to be absolutely massive, massive win. Maybe Mr. Boat should be trying to split his myth units from the rest of his army. I'm not quite sure. One thing Mr. Boat does need to do is get his second town center. Like, Ragnarok is just not going to be powerful enough on one town center. Chaos happens now, comes down, and it gets a Frost Giant. Oh, that's going to be really good. It freezes it actually freezes Mr. Boat's Frost Giant. So it gets frosted. So now that's 4 units down, and the Frost Giant for Mr. Boat. And then this God Power is going to be up again in 4 minutes. That's the recharge time of Chaos. Yeah, so he takes some damage and loses 4 units, and then now this God Power is just going to be available again in another 4 minutes. It's just going to keep happening. Mmoze has gotten his market up. He's ready to make a good trade route. Yeah, this is going to be a really nice long trade route. Though I'm not sure if it's the right choice to make caravans this early, seeing as you want to go mythic and you need the food to flood more of these murmillows. And Mmoze not really doing too good on the food department right now. This town center. Mr. Boat really should be trying to. Like, he really should be trying to secure his town centers. Like, you can make a wall here at least to just, like, help secure this one. I mean, this town center is kind of bad. It doesn't have any resources next to it, but this town center in the middle. Yeah, I would just try to take this with Frost. It's absolutely necessary to get this town center. Look at Mr. Boat's perspective. He's fixed his economy a little bit. He's got a economy that's very heavy on dwarves and not so heavy on gatherers. So it's a little bit of a lopsided economy. These dwarves aren't the best at gathering food and wood, but they are Thor doors. Yeah, Thor door.
Skipan.
Yeah, now I feel like it's a good time to Frost. I mean, there's not really much reason to keep waiting on it. Maybe Frost and traps this army. He should be able to pick it off. Yeah, Frost comes down now. He's taking the town center. Then maybe make another hill for it and put pressure on this gold. And Mmoze is getting his 3rd town center up without any issues. Yeah, this town center going up. That's absolutely necessary. It should have gone up way sooner. Maybe way sooner for Mr. Boat. I want to see some more building spam in front of this army because this Frost. Once this Frost runs out, you're gonna want to trap this army in under the town center. Frost Giant special happening on the Satyr. That's nice. But yeah, if Mmoze can just retreat this army without losing much of it, then I feel like then Mr. Boat is just sort of too far behind to win the game. If he's not able to pick off most of this army. Actually has to be spamming buildings now, longhouses in front, just to block the escape route. Attacking these units is no good. I mean, they've got 99% pierce. They've got 99% armor. They're going to be taking hardly any damage. Yeah, now you see Mmoze, he's going to be able to retreat this army without any issues now. It's just going to be able to retreat it. And he's going to have the resources to go Mythic Age soon. Soon enough. Well, he doesn't quite yet. He's going to be able to regroup and maybe try to do something. Maybe try to push in this town center. The Norse Heroic Age is really strong with the Frost Giants, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to push on this town center. The Frost Giants are going to be really strong. With chaos, like, he could probably push. I guess that's what he's waiting for. Chaos. I'm personally not a big fan of investing in trade this early. I really think the food would be better used on Mythic. I'm trying to go Mythic and then making these caravans. Granted, Oranos doesn't have Implode for the Mythic Age. He's only got Tartaran Gate and Vortex, and I think Implode is what you really want against Norse in this situation. It's much better than the Tartaran Gate. The Tartaran Gate is still pretty decent over here. Maybe we can put it on the temple. I could still do a lot of damage, but maybe Mythic Age isn't that important. So Chaos should almost be up right now for Mmoze. I guess that's what he's waiting for. And once he uses it, he'll be able to push back. Look at these upgrades. Mr. Boat doesn't actually have that many armory upgrades. Like, I thought he'd have more since he had that Anvil of Hephaestus and he's Thor. Like it's actually pretty much the same as what Mmoze has. He's now moving in onto this gold mine. Really wants to get some frost on the villagers. And these frost giants are so strong, but yeah, I'm not sure. Well, once Chaos comes down, it's going to remove a really big chunk of this army. Also, yeah, Mmoze's economy is really like it's really bad on the food income. I mean, that's why he's making these archers into these Archists into the Huskarls. You absolutely don't want to be doing that. The Huskarls, they absolutely crush these Archists. It would be even better to just make Caraballista. Caraballista do pretty good against the Huskarls. Archists don't. Now Chaos comes down. You see, basically remove like half of this army, half of these Huskarls. I mean, there's 4 Chaos Huskarls, and they're going to start killing each other. And the Frost Giant here, it's going to take out another Huskarl. So basically remove half the Huskarl and the Frost Giant. Really strong power. Now the heavy Archists are in. There's still some Huskarls over here. But it's not quite enough to deal with an army of this size. Mr. Boat is trying to get the TC now. He gets spotted by a Mmoze citizen. Mmoze trying to steal the town center sneakily. But Mr. Boat is there to stop it, and he's going to be able to pick off a citizen. Now we see the side build happening. Mmoze taking Mr. Boat's elephants, actually. So yeah, Mmoze once again getting so much more hunt. And he's going to now maneuver his army over here to try and stop this town center from happening. 2 military academies coming down. They're going to be flooding in more Mmoze and Archists right into this town center. If we can deny this town center, that will be really good for Mmoze. How close is Mr. Boat to Ragnarok, though? It's not even close to Ragnarok. That's pretty much Mr. Boat's only way to win. He has to get a good rag off. But it's not even close. It's not even close.
Hey, boy.
See the fight happening now. Mmoze has quite a lot of army here, but it's mostly Archists and these Huskarls. But these Huskarls should do really good against them. But then he's also got more units coming in. He's got the 2 military buildings and also the palace here. The Destroyer's coming down. I don't think this town center is going to go up, and if it's not going to go up and fighting just keeps happening, it's going to keep Mr. Boat from going Mythic. And that's sort of what Mmoze wants. He wants to make sure that Mr. Boat doesn't get to go Mythic. Because Ragnarok is a huge problem for Atlanteans to deal with. And now Mmoze is up through Hecate. Let's see where he uses Tartarian Gate. Could be used on this temple over here. This hill fort here is also maybe kind of valid. Looks like the Lampades is going down to try and find a spot. Hopefully he pays attention though, because this could get frosted by the Frost Giant. He did use a special on the Huskarl. Now a palace is going down next to this settlement. Now once this palace goes down, this settlement is never going up. And the push is happening to the main base of Mr. Boat. Fortified town center is being researched, but then the unit flood here looks like it's just going to be too much. The Tartaran Gate happening at the same time, also really nice. Although it looks like Mmoze is helping to kill the Tartaran spawn just a little bit. So Mr. Boat's base is just being taken out like mad.
Yow.
Mr. Boat now finally has the resources to go mythic, and he's up through Balder. But then how many? He's going to be losing all these doors here. Like how many villagers does he have? Is the Ragnarok going to be strong enough? He's only got 58. He's only got 58 villagers. I mean, he's been on one town center for most of the game. Now he's losing so many.
Yow.
This Ragnarok, I don't think 60 rag heroes is going to be enough for Mr. Boat to come back. 60 rag heroes are just not enough. So this looks like it's going to be a complete mess. You're also going to have like maybe three rag heroes just stuck in the gold mine, and not being able to do anything. Losing all these houses here. Now Mr. Boat has to rebuild them. It's going nasty. All the villagers are now chiming in to help build these destroyers, but they're so tanky. I guess this TC is going to stay up, but it's not going to last very long. I mean, more units are coming in. Balder is being researched from the other TC, but Mr. Boat, he's only got 60 villagers. 60 villagers is not going to be enough for this Ragnarok to turn things around. You actually see the new unit now, Onagers, just sieging down this town center, and it might... Oh, this Ragnarok, I don't know if it's even going to come through. These Onagers are taking down the TC so fast. I mean, there's 4 of them, now 5. And Mr. Boat doesn't have a way to stop it. Ragnarok, 92%, 93%, 95%. No, it's not going to make it. It's not going to make it. 97%. Ragnarok is cancelled, and now Mr. Boat is on no town centers. So Mr. Boat forfeits. Mr. Boat resigns, and Mmoze takes the win over Mr. Boat. So a big problem for Mr. Boat this game was just being able to secure his hunt. His eco was just like so. He was doing so bad on food. He had like plenty of gold, and I mean you need food. You need just food and gold because all you want to do against Ati is just spam all starts. But he couldn't get the food because his start was just so slow from not using the Dwarven mine at the start. I really wish Mr. Boat tried to play more aggressive and use the Dwarven mine straight away, get out those early units and just try to control the map a bit more. Also, he kind of was really slow to take the second TC and just fell so behind in eco. Granted, Ati has a really good eco normally, but then staying on one TC for so long really hurt Mr. Boat. Nice to see quite a bit of trade here. Again, both of these players were making trade quite early this game. I think I'm not sure if that's the right decision. I feel like an earlier Mythic Age to get those god powers. That's what's really going to be important. I mean, these caravans. How many gold does this one have? It's got 102 gold, so it's basically like an extra villager, but it costs 100 food instead of just 50 food. So you're it's like getting extra villagers, but for 100 food. Is that worth it? I don't know. But I mean, you can't criticize Mmoze since he did win the game quite cleanly. Yeah, so looks like Mmoze will be taking the series over Mr. Boat 2-0. And be advancing through to the next round. It's well played by him. Unfortunate for Mr. Boat. Maybe he would have maybe he should have tried to focus more on one god. So like, it's also like if you go random god into a game, I feel like it's sort of just like it's not good for your mental state because I feel like you want to be mentally prepared to play whatever god that you pick. Like it's sort of a mental thing. If you play random god, I feel like sometimes I'm just not prepared to get whatever I play. But that's just me. Anyway, good games.